Thank you very much, Riv. I'm joined here by Monte and Kobe to break down that game 2, as it is all square in the series, EDG versus SKT. And while comparable effort, that was not the right word, was it? From SKT fighting back in that game after what happened in the beginning. But on the other side, EDG doing a very good job driving it home, yet it turned out to be pretty close, which is very good by SKT.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do after you give up those 3 kills at level 1? And if we take a look at the team compositions as well, it's pretty much the worst, right? Because if you're SKT, you're looking to abuse Jinx's laning phase with the Lucian. You want that 2v2. And we saw the reverse matchup happening, right? So in the first game, we saw EasyHoon beat Pawn on Cassiopeia into Ori, and then he beat, even after those kills, the Cassiopeia with Orianna himself. So we know his laning phase is going to be quite strong, but with the tier and the weakness of Jinx in the early game, that is the prime time for SKT to take an advantage. But with the early kills coming in, it became so hard to do that.
You very rarely expect teams to come back from a level 1 like that.
Yeah.
But SKT, with these really extreme map movements in the early game, made a good case for themselves. They pulled themselves back to within striking distance.
Yeah, there's SKT right now. And honestly, looking into the next game, they can run the exact same thing. I think their fundamental game plan that time was absolutely solid, but when you fall that far behind, SKT had to trade the dragons for gold into the form of turrets just to catch up, and that created this snowball with these late game hyper carries that was pretty unavoidable. I mean, we obviously had that extraordinary Baron steal, which was unlikely and due to EDG not prepping Baron properly, but from SKT's end, I think they will take those exact same picks and bans if they can get them again.
I beg to differ. Maybe EDG coming out with the Annie as support pick and the Thresh was still open, yet Wolf went for Leona, the hard engage. And I wasn't really impressed.
I don't think anyone was impressed.
Wasn't the best. Any other adaptations for EDG then, as they is on the other side again? That Cassio, very highly contested in there one.
For me, it comes down to Pawn's champ pool. Because if he's losing reverse matchups like that, there's a really big problem happening. He's either not, he's not prepared on the champions enough that he's playing, and EasyHoon is just putting immense pressure out in that lane. So we have to see something more from Pawn, I think.
Yeah, definitely. The raw DPS that you need out of that lane right now, the Cassiopeia has really risen to the top quite unexpectedly.
Yeah, absolutely. And the top lane matchup so far, it was heavily contested in this one as well. Koro coming out with the flashy plays, but I think that it's not enough if we get the same scenario as in one for Koro to carry his team.
Possibly. I mean, Koro's been fantastic so far this entire tournament, so we'll have to see. Yeah, his top lane picks I don't think have been the major effort. Marin's been able to stay at least relevant in terms of farm. And in this last game, Marin found ways to play and try and get turrets down and get kills, even when he was
level
totally
3 and roaming mid lane against the summonerless mid laner. That was a really good move. Great in-game adaptation. The other thing is that there have been also a lot of misplays. We talked about all the good plays, but there have been multiple flashes when Twisted Advance is already on them, and so the Maokai still travels with them. Bang in the level 1 flashed into a wall. So there are still a lot of things to clean up, even with these best teams in the world playing.
Yeah, and finally, as you were jungling so awesomely on Xin Zhao beforehand, and we talked a lot about
Don't remind me, please.
We talked a lot about the jungle matchup and the Clearlove versus Bengi, and maybe the strategy of trying to shut Bengi down. That hasn't happened yet. Do you think that will come out in the next?
What did you say? I didn't catch that. What did you say?
Oh, that Clearlove was saying how the edges of Bengi's champion pool could be a real weakness for SKT in this one, but they haven't tapped into that yet.
I was actually really impressed in the game that Bengi did get Gragas. He had a strong Gragas performance, and I think that's a huge boon for SKT.
Yeah, even in this last game, I think he did what he could given the scenario. I think Bengi's actually been performing at a pretty admirable level tonight overall, and yeah, Clearlove in that last game also pretty darn good. It's
Gragas ultimate with the assisted escape though. Those are hard. Those are hard to place.
Enough.
Yeah, absolutely. But in general, we have seen some very clean and good League of Legends so far. Let's hope we get the full 5 games. We're going to take a short break while the team set up for Game 3. We'll be right back with the Mid-Season Invitational right after this.
Happy Mother's Day as we head into Game 2 of the Mid-Season Invitational. If that happens, it's going to be very bad. There's one passive for him. He's going for more. EasyHoon could go down now to Pawn. Bengi in a bad spot, and now he's in a worse one as he's down on the ground. Marin and Deft face to face. Double kill coming in for Deft. Nice ult coming in from EasyHoon. What chaos in these fights. Draw, says Deft, and he takes down Bang. as they turn around, they get hit in the back of the head by Pawn. That's going to be the entire team going down. What a game. It's all even here at the Midseason Invitational, 1-1.